G'day everybody. I have something interesting to tell you about. I want to talk about digital oil. Yes, you heard me right. Digital oil. It is in fact a thing, or at least it's a thing as far as I think of it. You see, there's this really interesting thing. It's kind of like Bitcoin, but very different in almost every way possible. I want to tell you about Ethereum. Ethereum, it is like a distributed, decentralized computer network, okay? It's kind of like the internet, but without all the junk in the middle. So, what I mean by this, and when I say it's digital oil, I mean it's the thing that makes things go. In our old-fashioned world, we have that dirty old oil that we put in our engines and it goes from A to B. And we need it for everything from farming to making plastics and basically our entire lives. This microphone here, my supercomputer, everything in this room just about, heck, even part of the clothing I'm wearing, it has oil, petroleum-based products in it. It's part of everything. And it's the fuel with which we go and do everything. Now, Ethereum is very much like this. You see, it's the gas for the Ethereum network. Yeah, I know, shocker, right? Where could the name ever come from? But we always abbreviate it to ETH. So I'm just going to call it ETH because I'm lazy enough to shorten it up like that. Now, that's cool. Why do we care? Well, we care because on the Ethereum network, we can use ETH to deploy smart contracts. And you're asking me, oh, well, okay, smart contract, is that better than a normal one? Does this get rid of my stupid lawyer? He really messed me up. How do I get rid of my stupid lawyer? I'm on board. I hate to tell you, it's not that kind of contract. These are contracts built with code, okay? They do things. Imagine all those big tech companies you hate, cutting them out of whatever nonsensical product they do, and just automating it. Having the code open, checkable by everybody, where you can see everything that's going on and interact with it of your own free will without having to sign up to Google Plus in order to watch your YouTube account. That's what smart contracts offer. They let you build any kind of application you could possibly imagine, and probably many more that we can't yet, and deploy it. And then it can run without the need for any person to be involved. Anybody can interact with it, and we don't have to give up all of our privacy. We don't have to give up something we don't want, like our precious time watching ads, ad infinitum, as some of us like to say. We get to just interact how we want with what we want, and we get to build the future of the internet, the future of the blockchain. Now, you may be saying, this is great, but as we've heard about Bitcoin, sometimes these blockchains have limits on how many transactions we can do at any given time. That could be a problem, especially if we're building a whole new internet, basically, on this. How many transactions can it do a second? Well, I'll tell you. Every 13 seconds, this blockchain mints a new block, and transactions get put in it, and yeah, come on. You people know how a block works. It's basically one after another, and if you don't, we'll have a video for you sometime. While you may be asking me how many transactions can I fit in each of those blocks, the answer is irrelevant because they're constantly updating it and improving it. Now, it used to be a small single-digit number. Then it's a double-digit number. But there's more improvements coming when they're ready. That's right. We do things when they're ready, not just throw something broken out and fix it later. I know. It's such a new world thing to do, but I kind of like it. I like my things working out of the box. Throwing shade at you, every single video game that's launched just about with a live service model. Part of the reason that this scales so well, and it's hard to give you a good number on how many transactions we really are getting through, not the like 20 transactions per second you can be quoted, is because we have these things called layer 2. You see, Ethereum, it is so good, so solid, so good at what it does and what it's trying to do, that other systems, other blockchains have been built on top of it. And they settle all their transactions back to the base chain, the Ethereum chain. And so they summarize dozens, hundreds, thousands sometimes of transactions into their transaction and then put it back on the main Ethereum network as one transaction. So if I tell you it does so many transactions per second, what comprises those transactions? Potentially many more. So that's why I say the number of transactions per second is not that relevant. It's really how many can be crammed in the entire system total. And that depends on the efficiency of other things. Now, what I can tell you is the importance of the economics behind the system for Ethereum. So, what do I mean by this? Well, you see, whenever you do a transaction, you have to pay a little bit of a gas fee, just like every other blockchain. Now, you pay this transaction fee with gas, okay? With GWEI, if you want to be technical And you can calculate it out, actually, based on the amount of gas usage per unit of computing power used. And this makes sure that nobody can abuse the network. Nobody can put an infinite loop thing that fills up all the blocks, because you would have to pay a gas fee, and if the gas fee is infinite, there's no one that can pay it. There is a limit to how much Ethereum there is. Now, Ethereum can be net inflationary or deflationary, depending on the transaction speed of the network. Now, you say, how can this possibly be inflationary? I thought we were getting away from inflationary things. Well, sometimes a very small amount of inflation is good. But how does this new Ethereum come into being? Well, much like we've heard with other blockchains that do something like proof of work, like say Bitcoin, they have a different innovative model with Ethereum. They call it proof of stake. See, instead of having to have a tremendous amount of money and time put into setting up machinery all around the world and having to put tremendous amounts of energy into mining all the coins, in Ethereum, you put your money where your mouth is, okay? You got to put 32 ETH up just in case you do something naughty, and it can get slashed and taken from you if you're trying to lie to the network. Do not lie on Ethereum. Don't lie anywhere, but especially don't lie on Ethereum. Everybody else on the network will catch you, and you will be punished. Yeah, I know. Consequences for our actions. Maybe some bankers should learn that lesson, but I digress. For validating all these transactions and risking your own ETH, you get block rewards, a transaction fee, and a reward for validating the network. We call it a staking reward. And no, this is not the kind of stake where you go out to a nice fancy dinner with your bros and you're like, oh yeah, carve that animal up, I'll take a slab of that. No, as tasty as that is, different kind of staking, okay? Stay with me, king. But you're just risking your Ethereum if you're a liar, and if you're not a liar, it's basically a risk-free asset, a risk-free way to earn a little bit of yield. Now, this yield is paid in new Ethereum. Now, if there's a tremendous amount of transactions going on in the network, it's net deflationary, meaning Ethereum is being taken out of the supply, out of the total supply, and the amount of it in existence is being reduced. Sometimes, though, there are lulls, and there's less Ethereum being used for gas fees, and it becomes net inflationary. Now, this is okay, because if transaction fees get really high, there's too much congestion on the network, that can be a problem. And it can also be a problem if there's not enough. And so to balance out the system, sometimes we need to incentivize things by either reducing the supply or increasing the supply. And this increase or decrease in supply also helps with another issue. See, with things like Bitcoin, where there's a hard limit to the supply, if we lose any over time, people forget their wallets, or just it becomes inaccessible or sent to nowhere, we've lost it forever. There is no more coming into circulation. But with a steady but very slow stream of persistent new Ethereum, we are able to have a continuous supply for the rest of human existence, or at least until the heat death of the universe, hopefully. Now, this ensures that we have a stable network, a stable way of transacting. Unlike dinosaur juice, this will never fully run out. This can last indefinitely. But you may be saying, okay, great, so we've got this network, we can do smart contracts. What else can we do? Can I don't know, get rid of my banker? Please tell me I can get rid of my banker. They're so mean. They keep charging me these tremendous fees for really, really silly stuff. Well, you can't quite get rid of them completely yet, but there is this thing called DeFi. Now, we won't get into it too deep, but DeFi, or decentralized finance as it's known, is quickly overtaking CeFi in user growth. Now, CeFi is centralized finance, where the bank abuses you and takes your money, puts it in a CD that loses money relative to inflation. The people who abuse you most in your life, it feels like, but sometimes more subtly than others. No, you can go into DeFi and find very interesting protocols, such as the DD protocol, where you can use your Ethereum as collateral. And against this collateral, you can short those paper dollars, or just get dollar access, or find other ways of earning money. Now, we'll have a whole bunch of other videos on this system, but effectively, it's a way to transact without the old financial system's issues getting in your way. Ethereum settles in 13 seconds. You want to do a traditional financial transaction? Go ahead, call your broker. I'll wait a few days, a few more days for settlement. Have fun with that. Or you can get up in your underwear and just tap a few buttons. Transaction's done instantly. Okay, we're done here. We didn't even have to get out of bed if we didn't want to. Seems better to me. Seems right. Seems freedom on a new network, a better network. Now, you may be saying, that's great, but I've heard of other networks. And I've heard of this EVM thing. What is that? Well, basically, EVM is the Ethereum virtual machine. Basically, Ethereum is so good, and the system for it is so good, and developers love it so much that other chains have made a system for importing stuff that is built on Ethereum quickly and easily. Because this is the future of finance, taking things from one place to another in an efficient way and giving people the freedom to go where they want to, not locking them behind long-term commitments, kind of like cable companies do, the scum of the earth. No, if you truly have something revolutionary, you don't have to lock someone in for life. They're happy to work with you. And that's something that crypto's embracing. Freedom. Freedom of choice. Freedom of action. And on this freedom, we have the perfect foundation to build the future. A future I can't wait to share with you all. It's going to be exceptional. Maybe there's even hope for this lost generation. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.